it back into deep right. Todd Walker got it all, and the Chicago Cubs jump out in front 1-0. There's a rocket to left field, and he's homered. And it is 2-0 Chicago.
And he swings to the first one and launches one deep to center. Junior going back, looking up, and that's another home run. Swing, and that one's launched deep to left field, and that's another home run. Swing, and a line drive deep to right, and that's gone. Into the Cubby bullpen, a 2-run homer this time for Todd Walker, and the Cubs lead is now 6-1.
By the way, did you know that Brandon Clausen is now going on the 15-day disabled list? He's suffering from whiplash after last night's 5 jacks in 4 innings. He gave up bombs to Todd Walker and Derek Lee in the first, then to Lee again and Aramis Ramirez in the third, and then a 2-run shot to Todd Walker again in the fourth. GK and the Goombah here with you, 8 past the hour on the Sports Animal, taking you up to the inside pitch. That's coming up at 6:40. Then game 2 of this 4-game set, 7-10. Reds and Cubs. Maybe the Reds can actually do something here and take care of some business. Speaking of taking care of business, we got our main man in here. We haven't seen you in a little while, DB. How you doing, Don Brown?
Good, Jeff. How are you, my friend?
We're not too bad. And
you guys are sounding great every night, man. I catch you before the Reds.
It's all the Goombah's doing. You know,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Actually, I want to
I just push buttons and hopefully things go on the air.
I always kind of look at it from this standpoint. If you have a name that has the word "the" in front of it, you're pretty much in charge.
That's the downtown Donnie Brown? No, it doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, the downtown Donnie Brown doesn't work, but it's the before a vowel and the before a consonant. And so many broadcasters screw that up.
Are you
There's
serious?
no such word as a in the English language. You can use it as an emphasis as far as, a great play, blah, blah, blah. But I learned a long time ago when I worked many, many years ago at another station.
Moons, sure.
Yeah. The and the.
Nope.
The before a vowel and the before a consonant.
Are you teaching English at Stebbins now?
I have.
See?
And I was requested many, many times by English teachers to do that. But that's a broadcasting thing that so many people don't understand and they don't realize. And so many broadcasters blow it. But I'm old. I mean, I'm going to be 30. I'm going to be 31 years old.
I mean,
next month.
that's reaching way up there.
I'm going to be 31, my friend, and that, and that's pushing it.
Wow. That's
31 for
34 and for how many years now?
How many?
I've been 31 for 14 years.
Well, Downtown is here. He is
what's up, my bud?
He is gracing us with this presence here for the entirety of this show. We're putting you on the spot on this one. But as always here, it seems like whenever we have to talk to you, there's something that you're pimping, but this is something very worthwhile that you're pimping.
Yeah, we're going to present our second annual Cystic Fibrosis Bowling Challenge. It starts actually this Friday night over at Beaverview Bowl. It was formerly the Muscular Dystrophy Challenge for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and we did that since 1988. My math is terrible. I don't teach math much, Dave, by the way, over at Stebbins. Yeah. But I do know this, and I'm good at this. We raised well over $100,000 for the Muscular Dystrophy Association when we did this. And last year, we took it over for cystic fibrosis because they were kind enough to ask me, John Condit and Debbie McClurry. John works at Channel 7, used to be on the air, and is now an account executive.
I remember when he was a young pup over at Channel 2.
Yeah, I got a story to tell you about him, by the way. That's a good one. And Debbie McClurry, who is the district director for cystic fibrosis, and they thought, well, why don't we do this, for CFF? And I said, yeah, we'll do the best we can. And all we did last year was raise almost $10,000
wow.
for cystic fibrosis in the first year of this event. But a lot of the bowlers in the Dayton area, they know this is happening every year, and they know this is the week that it's happening. And it just takes a little, kind of nudging them along, talking about it like you guys have been very, very kind enough to let me on to do tonight. And there will be some newspaper articles, and there will be some things on Channel 2 and Channel 7 for my good friends Mike Hartsock and Jack Pohl over Channel 2. They always put it on. Dale Huffman's going to put a piece about it, and Debbie Jenowitz, the fine bowling writer for the Dayton Daily News, will also have something in the paper, and we'll have another great turnout. And our goal this year is probably to do just a little bit better than we did last year, and I think we will.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're looking forward to this. In fact, action starts this Friday. So, I mean, it's like, you better get on this and toot sweet.
Well, the tournament starts Friday night. It's at Beaverview. Now, there are 2 centers this year that are doing it. It's unlike in previous years, because Centerville Lanes was always a part of this, but Centerville Lanes is no longer in existence. Centerville Lanes had to do some financial things and sold to a Walgreens, and it's kind of hard to bowl at a Walgreens.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Have you seen the lanes down at Walgreens? Come on.
I've seen the parking lot that is now Centerville Lanes,
okay.
and it's pretty tough to bowl there.
Yeah, amen.
But no, Russ Maid and the guys down there, I'm just kidding, actually, because a lot of those bowlers, and this is a good thing, actually came to Beaverview and now Playmore. So we're going to do just as well, if not better, probably, this year. And the qualifying starts this Friday night at Beaverview Lanes. There are a lot of great stories here, because one of them is that you don't have to be a very good bowler to win or cash money in this tournament. And this is for big money, $1,000 first prize. 9 pins is the same as a strike.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that kind of math.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is you can really suck and still score. I mean, that's what it's all about. 9 pins is the same as a strike. So if you get 9 and you go, I got to shoot that 10 pin, you don't have to. That's a strike. And you go on. And the pen setter actually rakes off the whatever you left, the 6 pin, the 4 pin, the 10 pin, and you move on, because the lanes are advanced enough now at these houses, which are great houses, Beaverview and Playmore. They actually rake it off for you, so you don't have to even reset it like we used to do in the old days.
Our main man downtown, Don Brown, joining us here, talking about this bowling tournament that we've got for cystic fibrosis. Talk about the involvement for Beaverview and Playmore, how they got involved in this.
Well, I used to work at Playmore Lanes. In fact, that was my first job way yonder back in 1976.
Wow.
When I was just started to drive. I was a junior at Stebbins High School. And Bob Wilson, who is still there, God love him, said I could be a bottle boy there. And I made
a bottle boy.
Yeah, you pick up bottles and empty trash and ashtrays back in the old days. And you can't smoke anywhere, I guess. I don't know. And but they that was what the bottle boy did, man. Pick up, clean up spills. You know, somebody spilled a milkshake or a Coca-Cola or something like that. Boom, you cleaned it up, and that was the bottle boy. $1.63 an hour.
Woo! High bucks, baby. You were raking in the dough back in '70s.
Oh, I loved it. I was killing. I paid for my gas, and if I ever got lucky enough to take a girl out back in those days with my '64 Chevelle Malibu.
Nice, nice.
I actually had a few bucks for spending money because I didn't want my dad, I didn't throw him any dough. So, yeah, it was great. But anyway, that's the way I got started. Okay, that's the way I got started. And after I worked at Channel 22 for many, many years and started doing the telethon, Bob came back to me after I graduated from Wright State and said, you know what, can we help you with muscular dystrophy? I said, great. Why don't we try something, a tournament? And our very first year in 1988 was a 300 challenge. If you got a 300 game, you won $500. Well, nobody got a 300 game, but we still raised $1,000.
Wow.
And what that told us was that bowling in this area is very, very big, and bowlers are very, very generous, just like motorcycle riders are in this area. So we thought, well, let's make it a little easier for them so we can get more and more bowlers, and maybe they can win more and more money. So we revamped the whole thing, and then all at once, it was not to bowl a 300 game, but just to qualify for a tournament. Then we got another house involved, then another house, and $100 and some thousand later in 2 charities. Dayton area bowlers have really, really stepped up to the plate, so that's how it all got started.
Oh,
in a very short 10 seconds, I think that I told that to you, Jeff.
Nice summary, Don.
Yeah, very nice summary, actually. Hey, 17 past the hour here on the Sports Animal. One more segment here. Don, you're going to stick around and tell us more stories, right?
Oh, we have to take a break, don't we?
Yes, we have to take a break.
Look at GK. He's looking
You're
at me.
killing me.
No,
you're busting my chops. Is what you're doing.
You're always like, we got to take a break. We got to take a break.
It's like it's a pain.
Sorry, man.
Actually, we're going to give away something as well.
Yeah. The
we
Goomba
have,
has something especially selected for you.
Coming up this Sunday on pay-per-view from Time Warner Cable. I know, Don, some of your favorite, WWE's Great American Bash, which I'm sure you'll be tuning into. We're actually going to be giving away right now for all of you wrestling fans a WWE Great American Bash basketball jersey. If you would like said jersey, give us a call, 457-WONE. It's 457-9663. I'll take caller number 6 right now. Good luck.
Get on it, and right now we're talking again with Down Brown. We're talking about cystic fibrosis and what you can do to help out in the cause to fight it, to find a cure for it, and take care of business and have a good time as well. 18 past the hour, back to wrap it up here on the Sports Animal. 21 past the hour on the Sports Animal. GK and the Goomba here, taking you up till 6:40. That's when we'll have the Reds inside pitch. 7:10. Game 2 of this 4-game set between the Reds and the Cubs. Hey, Dave, by the way, who did win our nice prize pack from the WWE?
Amy of Huber Heights picked up the WWE basketball jersey. Hopefully it fits, Amy.
Amen.
One of them double X large type of things that would drown anybody else.
Maybe you can wear it as a dress. Put a belt around it.
There you go. Sexy.
Yeah, see? This is what we're saying here. Hey, by the way, poll question from yesterday. Who will Griffey pass on the home run list this season? Now, again, he's tied for 14th on the all-time list with Williams and McCovey, with Stretch and with Splendid Splinter. And he has, so we put them on the list because he hasn't passed them yet. We put Jimmy Fox, who's at 534, Mickey Mantle at 536, and Mike Schmidt, who's at a distant 548. Now, mind you, that Griffey's right now at 521, so he'd have to hit a lot of home runs to pass Schmidt. But leading vote getter, Jimmy Fox. 54% of you think that he's going to get to 534 this year and pass Jimmy Fox, but not quite enough to Mantle. So that's very interesting since they're only just 2 off here. Today's poll question.
Yeah, he would only need 16 home runs to pass Mantle. Is that right?
Yes, and that's doable.
That's doable.
Very, very doable. Today's poll question, log on to 980homer.com. Who will have the most wins at the end of this baseball season? Will it be, and keep in mind, well, we'll give you these choices first. Will it be the Reds, the Indians, who may or may not be playoff bound, or the Dayton Dragons? And now keep in mind that the Dragons end their season at the very end of August. But we still put them on that list for that reason.
I think they'll have more wins than the Reds.
Yeah. I think it's entirely possible.
Well, the Indians, they got a good ball club.
Absolutely.
Good young ball club. They're going to be pretty good for the next few years, fellas.
So you think they're going to be looking for anybody?
If I can chime in.
Chime. The mic is open,
The
baby.
Indians, they've built their farm system. They told their fans the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years that this is where we're going to do. Now, O'Brien,
the DOB,
has not done that. And I don't think he's going to be around to be able to keep explaining that, to be honest with you. But I think the Indians are going to have the most wins at the end of the season.
You think DOB is going to be around by the end of the season?
No.
He might be the guy traded at the deadline.
There's a possibility that he could be out. I email Hal McCoy frequently, and we talk. I don't think that he's going to be around after this season's over. But then again, Carl Linder he's a pretty loyal guy. But then again, Carl Linder didn't have somebody that spent $17 million of his dollars on guys that so far have not panned out. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And I got my opinions on Eric Milton and Ramon Ortiz. Oh, by the way.
Well, and let's get to him. In fact, we'll talk a little bit more about the CFF.
Coming back.
We'll hit more of the CFF bowling tournament here in a few more minutes here. But what's your take on the Red situation? I mean, they are definitely in a state of flux. Joe Randa, likely the most attractive to be traded at this point, though some talk has been about Adam Dunn, some talk about Austin Kearns. What do you think about this? Even Eric Milton has been on the block.
Well, why do you all at once want to trade people? They're actually playing pretty well. They're playing a little better. And I don't think it's because baseball guy has been there. To be honest with you, I think it's just because these guys are starting to finally get in the groove. I would not be so quick to trade Eric Milton. I would not. And I would not be so quick to trade Ramon Ortiz. These guys have had a past history of pitching very, very good baseball. And you're playing in a bandbox down there right now. And especially now after the weather starts to get warm. Guys, I've been there. Trust me, I know this. Early in the season, okay, they were probably, a little, I don't know what you want to call it, I don't want to say not in shape, but they're not there yet as pitchers. Maybe stressing, maybe pressing too much, blah, blah, blah. But now, all at once, these guys are starting to hit home runs out of there, even when they got their better stuff. So you have to understand that when you sign a pitcher like anybody, like Milton or Ortiz, these guys are going to get hit because that ballpark is going to produce home runs. I take my chances on those guys, and I don't touch them. As far as trading a guy like Adam Dunn, why in the heck would you want to trade a product that has come up through your organization, and all these fans bitch and moan all the time about, well, you never bring anybody up through the organization. Now, once they want to trade him, get a pitcher. Well, what other pitcher is going to do what these guys can't do in Great American Ballpark? Think about it, okay? Austin Kearns, he's sitting down there in Louisville because Dan Blockhead thinks he's fat. He thinks he's fat.
His fat is hitting 350.
Yeah, that fat guy is banging out home runs,
he's
hitting
the cover off the
350,
ball, man.
and driving in runs quicker than Grant took Richmond. So I don't understand that either. And why do you trade him? And a guy like Willie Mo Pena, now, if you got to trade an outfielder, he might be the guy because he's hit or miss. Now, he can jack him. There's no question about that.
He'll put him far.
But he can't catch a cold.
He can't catch it. Damn.
And Adam Dunn is probably in that same category.
Adam Dunn is, unfortunately,
but
in
Adam
that category.
Dunn is a product of your organization. Austin Kearns is a product of your organization.
Yeah, I understand that, Don, but at some point you still got to
disagree.
You still have to put out results out there. I mean, the Goomba and I, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and I said I put out on the line. There's a kid who plays in the Dodgers organization who's up with the big club named Jason Repko. He doesn't hit for any kind of power like Adam Dunn does, but he might be a double-digit home run guy. He's going to be a double-digit steal guy. He might hit you 280, 290, but he's also going to play you what the Reds don't have, and that's great defense. If you told me that I could trade Dunn and get this kid from the Dodgers, I would make that deal. Because then what I have done is I am helping out my pitching staff and trying to develop them into what they should be, and that should be a good staff as opposed to what they've got right now.
So you're going to get this guy and make 3 or 4 diving catches a year as opposed to 45 home runs and driving in 80, 90, maybe 100 runs? What that makes, to me, I love you, Jeff. It makes no sense. Maybe some of our listeners could chime in on this. 457-966. Is that still the number, 457-966?
You got it, brother.
I don't agree with you. Give me the guy with the glove any day of the week, and I'll show you a guy that's a AAA lifetimer.
Yeah, but look what the Reds are doing right now. Look what are the Reds doing right now. They're in last place. They're in last place.
Well, a lot of teams are in last place.
They're in last place with Adam Dunn. They're in last place with Adam Dunn.
But what are you going to get for Adam Dunn? Do you think somebody's going to give you a frontline pitcher right now at the trading deadline?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
Are you going to get a frontline pitcher for Joe Randa? No. Are you going to get? You're not going to get a frontline pitcher from anybody right now because this is the time where teams need pitching. Now, you might give up a Dunn for a prospect, Jeff, or you might give up a Willie Mo Pena for a prospect, or you might give up a King Griffey Jr. to a team that is contending, because that's the only team he's going to go to, like the Yankees, for perhaps a real good prospect and maybe a washed-up frontliner.
Here's where I disagree. You still need to play great defense. I mean, when you play baseball, it's not like
you always have to play defense.
You have to play defense, but you got to do some other things. You can't strike out 200 times a year. I mean, at some point, that negates the goodness that 45 home runs will do you. I'm not disputing Adam Dunn's ability to produce at the plate, but when he isn't productive at the plate, it comes in long stretches, much like his power. When you strike out 200 times a year, you're unproductive for a very long period of time.
You give me Adam Dunn 45, 50 home runs a year, that unproductive, what you're talking about, will get him a big, nice, fat contract at the end of the season.
He's due to get one this year.
And we'll win you some games if you got a couple of arms. And I say, that Eric Milton, Ramon Martiz, they need a couple of pieces to go with that. Will be very, very good for this team. Don't be so quick to get rid of these guys. People make me sick sometimes when they start going off on these tangents. I'll trade this guy. Let's trade Griffey. Let's do this. That's just me.
Let's go to the phone lines here. Eric, you're on the Sports Animal.
How you guys doing?
Eric,
Good,
we're
how are
good.
you, man?
What's shaking?
I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're talking about right now, the Reds and trading. I don't see there's any way possible that they trade Dunn or Griffey or any of these guys and get anybody that's going to put them where we want them to be. I think all the fans, basically what we're wanting to see is we want to see a World Series shot. We want to see a playoff run. We want to see something like that. And I just don't see that happening, getting a top prospect or something from another team. I mean,
Not right now, Eric.
You kind of got to spend the money.
No, they're not going to get a top prospect right now because do you think a team's going to give up a big-time pitcher right now for any of these guys, especially if they're in the
if they're contending.
in a playoff chase? But even if they're not, do you think they're going to give up a pitcher for a guy like Adam Dunn or Austin Kearns?
No, I don't. I mean,
short term, that's going to make a GM look good. But in the long term, if they give up a front line, I heard Mike Hampton's name mentioned today. Now, he used to be a very, very good pitcher. He's been on the disabled list with the Braves, I guess, this year. And if he gets back and is healthy, that'd be a nice deal. But how do you know he's not?
But see, again, here's what the problem is. I think there's an overvaluing of Adam Dunn. I mean, he's not a good defensive player. He doesn't steal your bases. He strikes out way too much. At some point, you need a ball player to be on that field. And if you're going to be in sixth place, if you're going to be in last place in the Central, you can do it without Adam Dunn as well. That's where my point comes in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I agree with you as far as that goes. You make all good points. But as far as getting a guy that just plays good defense, no. That's where we disagree. And I'm not sure what you're going to get in return for Adam Dunn. I'll have Adam Dunn on my team any day of the week because he's a gamer. And one thing everybody forgets, Eric, you probably agree with me, this guy doesn't get hurt.
Right.
How many games has he missed in the last 5 years for the Cincinnati Reds?
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Did you just say Cincinnati?
And I...
Did I?
I think you did.
Yes, you did.
I'm 33 years old, man.
He's getting older by the minute.
Yeah, I was 31 in the first break.
Well, I got to say, I bet that there's kids in California somewhere and they pick up a video game, and the only reason that they want to be the Cincinnati Reds on that game is because of people like Adam Dunn and Ken Griffey Jr.
Amen.
And I just don't think that you want to trade a guy like that. I mean, I know he's a product of the organization and all that stuff, and we were talking, there was the poll question about the Dragons. Here in Dayton, the Dragons lose all the time. I mean, all the time it seems like.
They've struggled recently.
So it really doesn't seem like there's anybody big time coming out of this I mean, it seems like it starts right off at the bottom. The whole organization it's not the greatest organization.
Well, I think they've got some prospects that you got to give them some time here. Homer Bailey, I think he's pitching tonight, as a matter of fact,
yes,
for the Dragons. And Pipcorn, that kid can flat swing the bat. B.J. Szymanski, yeah. So, yeah.
Eric, we appreciate the call. Have a good one.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Eric.
And we got to wrap this, unfortunately, up. Anyway, I wish we can continue on with this.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get your CFF in there.
We do want to make sure that it is. And then the second annual CFF bowling tournament starts this weekend over at Beaverview. Next week it'll also be over at Playmore. That's a very big deal. What are the numbers for that, by the way?
Yeah, you guys are going to talk about this
Absolutely.
as we
Sure
go.
enough.
Thank you very much. To register at Beaverview, and that is the most important thing right now, 426-6771. 426-6771. It's a $25 entry fee. If you call between now and 7 o'clock, all right, at Beaverview, instead of $25, you'll get a $20 entry fee. You got 25 minutes to get a $20 entry fee at Beaverview. 426-6771. It's a no-tap, 9-pin, same as strikes. First prize, $1,000. We failed to mention that the total prize money is $3,500. So you don't have to win the tournament to really cash in a lot. Even if you qualify out of Beaverview or Playmore to go to the finals the following week, you win a lot of money. Steve Princevelli is our honorary chairman from News Center 7. Our one of the chief meteorologists over there at News Center 7. He's going to be talking about it, and we got a lot of media types from your station, station across the town, station across the other side of town, and that other station.
Very most importantly here, the Goomball and I will be present here.
You guys are going to bowl.
A week from
I'll be
Thursday
there
for
to embarrass myself.
over at Playmore. And
It's worth $25 right there.
you know what? I think even more importantly, your better half will be present. Am I correct on that?
Tracy Hale Brown will be there. Gabrielle Enright from News Center 7 will also be on tap. And Jack Paul from Channel 2.
I go back all the way with all those people.
Neil Connerman from over at Channel 2 will be there. Hartsock is going to be Hartsock's going to be there. Yeah,
downtown, glad having you around. Don't be a stranger, man.
Anytime. I never saw a crowd or microphone I didn't love, my friend.
Reds Inside Pitches next. GK and the Goomball. We'll see you Thursday. We're out of here.